So greetings and salutations. Welcome to this video. So here's the executive summary. You can pause the video here to just get a look at it. And here's the contents of the video. Again, you can also pause it to have a look at it as well. But just to quickly explain, we have the introduction, the scoping study, and then we have the intervention plan, which includes the intervention aims, potential partners, and important stakeholders, the product strategy, the price strategy, the place strategy, the promotion strategy, creative strategy, and media planning, and the evaluation strategy. And then we move on to the ethical considerations and potential unintended consequences, and then we have the conclusion. So this visual presentation is for a marketing campaign for immunisation in Richmond Valley. The campaign has been issued by the Australian Government's Department of Health and the Immunisation Initiative due to the rising behavioural concerns of immunisation and vaccination. There is a lack of necessary immunisation, so the campaign will encourage the target audience to uptake the habit of being regularly vaccinated. So let's get into the scoping study. The social cause itself is known as immunization. Immunization is the act of achieving immunity to selected diseases, often by means of vaccination. When a certain percentage is fully immunized, the population will be able to defend itself from an outbreak. The percentage needed for Australia is 95%. However, Australia just falls under the minimum needed. This is because of a few low vaccination areas in Australia, such as the Richmond Valley coast and hinterlands. The lack of immunisation puts a strain on the healthcare system, since more individuals will be getting sick and require hospitalisation. So the academic literature on the subject showed what is influencing parents and young adults in relation to immunisation. The theory of planned behavior and the health belief model showed that elements that affect the actions are perceptions of susceptibility, concerns of efficacy, peer influence, provider influence, and perception effectiveness. A framework was created that incorporated the key elements from both the theory of planned behavior and the health belief model. And we'll have a look at the model. So let's look at the model. So as was mentioned earlier, it's a combination of the theory of planned behavior and the health belief model. So attitudes, subjective norms, and perceived behavior control affect the intention to accept regular immunization, as well as the perceived threat. So perceived threat is affected by perceived susceptibility of the disease, age, sex, personality, socioeconomics, and knowledge and cues to action as well also affect the perceived threat. Perceived threat increases the likelihood of behavioral change in intentions, and age and sex, etc. also forms the benefits and barriers, which also affects intention. Another element included was the healthcare provider's influence on intentions. Intervention aims. We are targeting the parents of children. Although children are the ones getting immunized, parents have the ability to make decisions for them. Also, targeting the parents will also double targeting adults as well. It's also good to note that children can still play an important factor in decision making. So the goal is to increase the awareness of how effective vaccinating is at protecting both individuals and the population, correcting false information using reliable sources and data, and encouraging parents to ensure their children are continually immunized. So let's take a look at the campaign's potential partners and stakeholders. First and foremost, we have the Australian government as well as the Australian Government Department of Health, which will help us by providing funding and resources. Next, the University of New South Wales and the Immunisation Coalition will help us with providing key research and information for messaging and advertising. Then, the Northern River vaccination supporters will help with distributing the message in public, while the New South Wales Department of Education can be used for advertising and messaging in schools. The Richmond Valley Council can help with the running and organisation of the event. And finally, Telstra can serve as an internet provider and runner of the app should we need one. Here we have the product strategy, which is split into the three layers of a product, which is core, actual, and augmented. Starting with core, which is the key benefit the product provides, which to summarize for the campaign is gaining immunity to various diseases, being healthier and protected, and defending others from disease and outbreak. Next is the actual, which is the tangible elements of the product. So for immunization, this is clearly being vaccinated, but to clarify, the vaccinations are up to date and the individual is taking the right vaccinations when needed. Finally, we have the augmented product, which is the added value or additions to enhance the product or behavior. So here we have the app and website development, which both this and the campaign will assist in the handling of schedules and providing resources and information on immunization and vaccinations. Price. So price is the cost associated with the consumer, what they'll have to spend to uptake the behavior, especially in relation to the campaign. So this part has been split into two sections, the first covering the use of the app and the second covering the event. So starting off with the monetary cost of the app, one key thing to consider would be the cost associated with running the device that they'll be using, since this is an online application. This would include the costs for data, Wi-Fi, other maintenance costs, and costs of accessories. These elements aren't directly associated with the app, but can influence the parent's choice to utilize it from a monetary standpoint. As far as solving these issues goes, free Wi-Fi can be provided at clinics or at the event to encourage its use, although there may be some issues reaching at home. The app can be downloaded onto devices at medical or government facilities where the audience may visit. Oh, this still restricts the use from home. So moving on to non-monetary costs associated with the app. Some issues involve using up available space on the device, concerns of providing personal details, and spending time to use the app. These issues can be solved by making sure the app doesn't use up unnecessary space, ensuring that the personal details are kept safe, and making sure the app is easy and convenient to utilize it for its purpose. So for the event preparing for the app's release, there will be several costs for the audience. So this can include costs for traveling to the location, such as fuel and maintenance. This could be addressed by providing free public transport for those heading to the event. And the next issue would be the payment for parking, which again can be solved via public transport, as well as providing free parking for event goers. Another cost associated for the audience would be the preparations I will have to make for it. Since it will be superhero themed, it is likely that kids attending may want to wear costumes and whatnot. While this may be more of an issue for the parents to solve, free costumes could be provided at the event. And another issue would be the cost for food, which could be fixed by giving free food or at least providing it at a cheap price at the event. So non-monetary costs associated for the event would be time as well. So so the parents may possibly miss out on other things they may want to be doing on those allocated times. But many of the activities and entertainment can be ran at the event so that both the children and parents are entertained, which may fix the time issues. So let's move on to place, which covers the location of the campaign's consumption. The app will be made available for Apple and Android devices, which covers the majority of mobile phone users, and the website edition will also be made that functions identically to the app, allowing it to be used on computers and other non-Apple or Android devices. The app is online, so it can essentially be accessed anywhere. However, it is expected to be downloaded and used while the parents are at home during their spare time. They may also be downloading it at the event for free if Toaster is on board. The location of the event will be in a place easily accessed by all those living in Richmond Valley and be sizable enough to hold a decent number of visitors. So this kind of place would be like a sports hall since it can offer a variety of functions such as seatings for presentations, and its large size can allow different activities to play out in differing locations throughout the event's timetable. It will also be an indoor location, so issues with the weather can mostly be avoided. So promotion. So the aim to get parents and children to visit the event and download and use the app. So we will strive for this by utilizing Facebook advertising, which will be used throughout the campaign's duration. And we will use other forms of social media advertising such as YouTube, and posters will be used by being placed across key public locations and schools, and invitations and announcements can be made at schools, and also the distribution of flyers can be done in public places and schools as well. So to go into more detail, advertisements will be split into ones directly targeting the parents and then ones appealing to both parents and children, or family orientated ones. So the parent-orientated ones will appear on Facebook and other social media where the kids may not be able to see, although it's possible that they could. And the family-orientated ones will appear in all advertising locations. So parent-orientated ones will be more direct or straight to the point, while family-orientated ones will appear more entertaining or more fun or cool. So let's look at the creative strategy. So here we have the ideas for the posters that will be distributed across Richmond Valley. As you can see here, the first one is directed towards parents, being more simple and direct with its messaging, while this second one is designed to appeal to kids by using superhero imagery. This also connects it to the event, which will have a superhero motive to it. These posters will also determine the layout of the flyers, which will just be smaller and have the info on the other side, and online advertising. Now here we have two storyboards for online ads and a radio script. The first storyboard is for an animated video and has the more entertaining attribute using the superhero imagery. So the ad will relate to the event but can be slightly modified at the end to relate to downloading the app after the event is done. The second one has the more direct message targeted towards parents, explaining the app more. So moving on to the radio script, it's set up to be in a similar vein of the first storyboard, evoking the superhero vibe. Also, this here is the advertising schedule plan for the campaign. As seen here, Facebook advertising is spread across all time slots. This is because Facebook would be the most used media here and has a higher likelihood of being recognized by parents via constant flow. Next, we have YouTube advertising, which will be mostly used to generate interest for the upcoming event, and then have some general usage a few time slots later in September and December. So the reason this is done is to measure the impact the YouTube advertising has, as it appears it is not used as much by parents when compared to Facebook. Posters and flyers will be distributed to public locations and schools early on to generate some awareness, and then see some more distribution in June and July when we get closer to the event. Invitations, which will be given out to students to bring home to parents, will be distributed early in May. Radio advertising will be used to generate interest towards the event, and then fill in other gaps afterwards to remind the usage of the app. Finally, the event itself will be held in July. This is fairly early for the entire campaign, but late enough to get some advertising in beforehand. It is also set when New South Wales has midterm holidays, so kids will be more likely to be available to visit the event. So let's take a look at the evaluation strategy. So for the app or website, we can look at the amount of usage it's getting. So we can analyze this by looking at downloads, the time spent on the app, how many clicks are being put towards the website, and the ratings that the app is getting. We can also look at the surveys distributed at the end of the event, while also distributing online surveys for app users. So the survey will be asking how well did it affect their concerns on safety, susceptibility, etc. And we can also look at the number of bookings made for the vaccinations at clinics and medical facilities, and also look at the records of vaccinations. And we can even look at how many there were the before the campaign, during the campaign, and after the campaign. So ethical considerations. So these are the issues that occur when it comes to the responsibility of running the campaign. So starting off, we have targeting. So the advertising covers a large range of media. However, Facebook advertising does have the strongest focus. So advertising could miss parents that don't regularly use it, and not all parents will be able to attend the event. So it won't encompass the whole target market. Then there will be negative perceptions of the campaign. So it's likely parents or individuals with strong anti-vaccination advocacy may try to portray the event poorly, which could lead to backlash. And should things go poorly overall, it could also create a negative view on immunization. So in relationship to app development and research, since this is a medical related campaign, there may be a lot of involvement with the medical history of patients in relation to immunization, which is often considered high risk research, especially since individuals may view these matters as private. And another issue that may be related to parents is that parents may falsely assume that their child needs certain vaccinations when they don't, although the app is supposed to clarify this. So we're just about done, but to conclude, 95% of the population is needed to be immunized for herd immunity, which Australia falls short of. Parents in low immunization areas need to increase their regular vaccination for their children. The theory of planned behavior and the health belief model were combined to contain several influencing elements that affect their intentions to adopt the behavior. The aim of the campaign is to increase awareness of vaccinations and vaccination info. The an event and the app and event was planned for the campaign, and it will be advertised on digital media and public places and at schools. And the app and event can be measured by using various forms of data such as app usage and surveys, as well as looking at the records for vaccinations. So here is the references. It's split between two slides. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.